How's it going, everybody? I'm back in Fallout 4, and this time I'm actually going to be building. It's sort of like there's just piping coming out of the ground, and I'm going to be building a house out of it. So, this I extensively use Quappa, um, the rotate tool. So, the main thing is this first pole, or the first pipe that I put down. There's no piping that goes like down into the ground. So I had to take one of the curved pieces and then I just moved it where it kind of angles down towards the ground, and so you can see like when I pick it up and I like kind of try to get it to where it's going into the water, as if there was like some sort of industrial piping that they were building or that they had that came up out of this swamp area for some reason. And then, like, this piping went down into the water. But somebody, I'm really sorry I don't remember your name right now, but somebody had pointed out that the bread box is a really useful tool for using uh, the rotate tool. So if you want to use the rotate tool in Quappa, I've been using the bread box because someone pointed out that it's a really useful tool to use, and it is because you can see where the front is going to be, and you have like specific angles and stuff. You can see exactly where everything is going to like rotate off of the exact axes and everything, which is very useful. Uh, Someone also pointed out yesterday in a or not yes Wednesday in a video uh, that something that happens that I do when I use Quappa is sometimes the place anywhere tool kind of doesn't activate. So one of the best things to do is like when you pick up an item with place anywhere, instead of having to like move it everywhere to activate it, you can just nudge it kind of a little bit forward and it should activate automatically. Uh, for the most part, since uh, I've recorded a lot of these videos beforehand, so I really don't do that a whole lot in this video or the next couple builds that I have recorded. I haven't done audio for those yet, or like voiceovers, so that's the main reason that uh, I just wanted to point out now that those I didn't really mess with that tip a whole lot, so that person is probably going to see it and be like, well, you didn't listen to me at all. But that's the main reason why, is because I record these ahead of time, so a lot of these are recorded without that knowledge. So uh, that's a couple tips that I've learned since I actually have recorded my Quappa video on better ways to use Quappa. So with the place anywhere tool, to activate it, after you pick it up, you kind of just nudge forward a little bit, and it should activate it and let you use the place anywhere. Also, bread box with the rotate tool. It's one of the most useful pieces. But for this industrial piping, I just had it come out like one or two pieces out of the ground, and then I used place anywhere to place these rounded uh, half walls on the end, and they almost fit perfectly. It's really cool. They fit pretty nicely, and then on the bottom, so that they don't quite look like they're floating, uh, I just will go ahead and I place down a few more of these. And I I will say now, in the final tour of this, there's a lot of detail that I didn't do in the build. mainly just because it's a lot of just, I mean, the same thing over and over. I just placed down a bunch of sandbags around the outside and everything uh, to help. In my mind, it was to help with flooding. That's the main reason I did it, even though this is like a terrible idea for like someone living in some place like this. Living in a pipe that goes into the ground is probably not the most brilliant idea, but just thinking about it like just now, we can say that the piping drains. It doesn't like flood, even though if you look at the end of it, it's totally flooded. Uh, because it goes straight into the water. But you can say that maybe it drains and the water that gets into the piping just runs down into the piping and stuff and runs off someplace. Like maybe it like goes down uh, a little bit farther to where that river is on the a little farther north of here on the northern side of the map. But that works. Fixed it. Fixed the lore. But on the inside of this, all I did was I wanted to add some floors because, you know, it's all rounded and stuff, so it's kind of hard to build in here. So I just grab this shack bridge, and of course it's kind of being impossible to pick up when the Place Anywhere tool is kind of surrounded by all these other items. So I just pulled it out of there, used the Place Anywhere tool to clip it in. I was trying to get the two like little wooden beams that are the farthest like glitching out to be in between the door frame, but it really wasn't working that way. Just because there isn't that much room anyway. So on this end, I used wooden beams all the way across. I just grabbed a couple and was placing them down like this, like across long ways. Um, Probably could have been a better way to do this just for the fact that they're not going to be the most even thing. But like I was saying, there's plenty of room for runoff underneath this. So like if any water were to get through the hatch that I placed, which it would, it just runs down the piping underneath the floor. So the person that lives in here doesn't have to worry about, you know, water flooding their house and everything all the time. So right here, I'm just trying to use the Place Anywhere tool to get the plywood to be slightly underneath the longer blue piece of plywood. So that the floor is nice and layered and stuff. It doesn't quite look like anything's floating. I ended up adding a wall at the end of the, or a railing at the end of this, some sandbags, bunch of stuff. So you can see right here with all the detail and everything. I think that this looks really cool. Got sandbags all around the side completely. Added some junk walls without the railings all the way along this side. That I mainly did that just so that if I wanted to, I could connect it to the actual junk wall of the settlement. Uh, Whenever I get around to that. Added a small like porch area. You guys saw that. On the inside, decorations are pretty minimal. I thought about putting up posters and stuff on this wall on the right, but it didn't really look right whenever I was trying to do it. Like the textures were weird because I think it's because the posters are so thin, so it's harder to like get them close, and I don't want them to be floating or anything. But you can see I added sandbags underneath, and then also I added a railing at the end so that like it's just a little more closed off. But let me know what you guys think of this build. Let me know if there's anything else that you guys would like to see here. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.